All right. Without further ado, we will welcome Karen, and please introduce and tell us what you all do.
Good morning. Can you hear me? Yeah, I have to apologize. I do have a cold, so I am going to sound very terrible today.
Many have had this, and hopefully it's not it's croup for the adults, but RSV for the kids here in America. And it lasts about a week or two. So get prepared. And then the cough gets horrible. Okay. So get the Delsum cough tablets work better than any doctor can give you. So
well, thank you for that. I think I got it from the 1-year-old grandchild. So
you probably did. That's where we got ours from. The grandbabies. So
the grandbabies, the little petri dishes.
Yes, they are. So this is wonderful. Okay, so introduce yourself, tell us what you do, and then we'll go from there.
Okay, so you've got the slides. I assume you're going to put those up.
Yes, Brett will do that right now.
Yeah, good. Okay, so I'll start off. I'm Karen Anderson, and I'm the founding director of Foundation 96. And the purpose for starting that up was to fill that gap between when people finish their cancer active treatments. We understand that hormone treatments continue on, but I'm talking more about surgery, the chemo and the radiation. And they then get to the situation where they are now going, there's side effects from these treatments. And what can I do? And who do I contact? And where do I start? So I went out on a mission in 2014 and looked and researched that. And in a nutshell, where we're at now is we're nearly at 900 people that are registered, trusted health and wellness professionals that can help people with side effects. And Casey?
Hey everybody, this is Casey Brown. I know I've met a few of you prior to this, and thank you so much for having us on to speak. There's quite a few very distinguished guests, and I've been really enjoying listening to them for the last couple of hours. But I'm Casey Brown, VP of Engineering at a small startup called FORBIE. We actually are building an application for kind of off-site patient care for those who have been diagnosed with cancer or who are recovering from cancer. And basically the app is a companion app that allows you to do journaling and symptom tracking, along with take daily surveys. And then it takes that information and then it puts it into a very easily digestible user status update or an update on your health. And it can show you trends over time, whether it be anxiety or sleep disruptions or increases in specific symptoms. It gives you that in a nice, colorful PDF, so you can identify if there's any issues or changes in your current mental or physical health. And then you can also email that to your doctor or your caregiver, or you can simply bring it in with you to a meeting with your doctor or with a counselor or anyone else you would like to discuss it with. And it kind of gives you more of a data-centric view of what's going on your day-to-day basis.
Fabulous. And so I'll start through. So the plan today is for me to give you an introduction to Foundation 96, that we can do questions at the end, and then Casey's going to take over and discuss what's happening with FORBIE. So thank you for your time today, everyone. I appreciate being here. How do I change slides when I'm not in control? Thank you. So the first thing I thought I'd put up here to show you is when you do go to foundation96.com, this is the website front page. And my purpose for doing that is just so you know that you're in the right place, and this is exactly what I'd like you to come and see and visit. So next slide. So what we've designed is a model of integrated care. And I think that most people would understand what that means. We have the multidisciplinary team, which is where your medical staff fit into doing your treatments. And then the integrated care is now coming into what the health and wellness professionals can provide after that care, or in some cases during the multidisciplinary stage. So we're supporting people that have had a cancer diagnosis. And most importantly, we are then the people that are connecting them to the people that will be able to help them. We're sort of like that portal that is actually there so you have that confidence and trust that we've vetted them, made sure that they are going to be the best people to help you in your state or via Zoom. So how can we help you? This is the part that I think is the most important thing, is a lot of people look at the side effects that come from treatment or cancer itself, and they're not quite sure if that's something they need to live with, or is it something that can actually be helped. And we have taken I've been involved in the last 22 years trying to get this message out there, that if you are experiencing any side effects, that there is probably evidence that shows that we can help with that. So I don't want people believing that they just have to put up with it. So what support do you have when you get home? So this is the biggest thing I've heard over the years in the industry, is when you get home and all of the appointments stop, who do you then go to for help? Is it your primary care physician? I mean, your surgeon's finished, your chemo's finished, the radiation's finished. So who's managing you then? And this is where I think we need to look at how we can help people more, because the systems are extremely clunky to be able to get that to happen. So we took that mission and said, right, if we can find the people that are qualified and trusted to help with those side effects, then that takes the role away from the multidisciplinary team trying to work out how to send referrals. So it just becomes that one-stop shop. So the most important thing I spend my day with is saying, okay, which health professionals help you with which side effects? So we have then gone to the next level and said, how do you know what you need to find? What do you know that you don't know? And that is the challenging part. So we set up the health consulting business, and that is where people are coming on board. They're contacting one of our health consultants, explaining what they're going through. And then we go, do you need a goal, like a wellness plan? Is it physical? Is it nutritional? Is it emotional? It might be a specialty like wigs, hats, tattoos, that type of thing. So what do you need? And that's probably one of our most important linkages that we've introduced this year. So that's our health consulting. So the health consultants that we use are qualified. Most often they'll have a nurse or a health background, and they're not looking at the medical side. They're looking at things that can't be treated with medication. So if I have someone that comes on for a consultation and they're discussing with me that they have a high fever or they've got a wound that needs to be looked after, it will be automatically referred to a medical team. So we are only going to do private consultations, or we do a 6-month plan for people with things that can't be treated with medications. The wellness support plan. This is really good plan that we put together for people that want someone in their life for at least 6 months. And sometimes we have people that stay a year. And that's about checking in every single month and saying, how are you? Where are you? What do we need to be doing to help you? It might be looking at new goals. It might be your workplace. It might be relationships. It might be strength. There are so many different things. It could be a sexuality issue, and we look at different therapists and different techniques. So everyone's unique, everyone's individual, and we're really then that go-to person that they can link in with to be able to help them through this process. So if you'd like to go onto the directory, this I thought would be a great snapshot for you to be able to see. So when you go onto the website, you can then key in there any of the services that we have down the bottom, and you can go into your location or somewhere close in your state if we don't have someone there. And if we don't, because we're spread out over 19 countries, we will then help you. So contact us, we will find that person and then encourage them to be on the directory. So physical training, just to give you a briefing on this, anything from exercise physiology, physical therapists, occupational therapists, yoga, acupuncture, the list continues. But I just wanted to give you an idea so you can see the physical side. The nutritional consulting, I think the majority of you would know that, is you're looking at dietitians or nutritionists. Emotional well-being is quite a lengthy list of things there. Anything from a psychologist to a psychotherapist, grief counselling, hypnotherapy. I would imagine that most of you would understand those disciplines, and if you don't, please reach out so I can give you definitions of those. Our specialty services are growing. I didn't think this was an area we were going into, but things like music and art therapy have been so beneficial for people in a psychological component and also connecting with other people. So you've got your estheticians and your sleep specialists, financial support. We have a lot of people that offer things for free and charities. So it's networking within that system. Again, don't be alone. There is something for you. So now we're moving into where Casey's and his teams come into Foundation 96's life. And why we've partnered together is because I think it's important that we actually have an app that can go into treatment centres at the time of people being diagnosed. And then that gives them the opportunity to have that friend that's with them if they need support, so they don't feel alone. And then we can help through that process of going through the support, whether it be mental support, as in emotional support, or whether it is physical support that can help. So in that, I'll hand over to Casey. Thank you.
Yeah, perfect. And bro, we can stay on this slide for a bit. So FORBIE's story kind of begins with our founder. His wife was diagnosed with cancer about 10 years back. And she was going through her cancer journey. Now her cancer's in remission and she's doing just fine. But what they noticed was that there was a real gap in the coverage, in the healthcare coverage, in between on-site visits. So in between on-site visits, she would go a month and she'd go see her medical physician, and she would get a series of questionnaires asking, how did you feel over the last, how was your mental health over the last 30 days? How was your sleeping over the last 30 days? And she had what she called chemo brain a lot of the time, and was unable to remember beyond just the last couple of days, you know, what her data set would have looked like over the previous month. And on top of that, whatever she was feeling that day more or less biased the data. Furthermore, the doctors would just take this pamphlet that she filled out and they'd file it away, and it was really hard to have a discussion about it. The data really wasn't providing any positive impact in terms of giving her a better outcome or providing any additional care for her during the months that she was not seeing her or in on-site seeing her physician. So from that, our founder did some investigation, and what we found out was that one of the #1 most requested areas of need and confusion for people who are going through their cancer journey is the ability to communicate and discuss issues with their care team while they are not on site. Additionally, we also found out that about 48% of individual cost, once you've been diagnosed with cancer, in terms of medical treatment, comes from unplanned visits to the hospital, whether that be the emergency room or an emergency visit or surgery or any kind of non-planned visit to a medical establishment. So there we've got two issues, right? We've got the cost is already high as it is, and we've got frustrated patients who are unable to communicate with their doctors about their mental and physical health. All right, so we can move on to the next slide. So FORBIE is a free application. We've actually just launched in the last 6 months. We're available on the Android app, and we are also available on the Apple App Store. And what we do is we provide a very simple interface that allows the user to track their daily symptoms, monitor their physical health and their mental health via a survey that comes every day. The questions are simply very basic. You rate 1 through 7 or 1 through 10, or and there's never more than 4 questions in a survey, so they're very easy to fill out. There's also a medication tracker that allows you to input your medication, but also keep track of your adherence to that medication schedule. So you can always check back and make sure that you've taken your medication during that day. But you can also look back over the previous month to see how often you've been able to stay on track with your medication. It also provides a refill update, which you can set yourself, and it can warn you 5 days prior, and it'll give you a little heads up on that. Furthermore, we have a fitness device integration, so you can attach your Fitbit and keep track of your steps and your heart rate and your sleep. We have the ability for you to create notes for your doctor's visits. So if you want to write down some notes things that you want to discuss with your doctor prior to entering that appointment, and you can bring those up and discuss with your doctor. But also we have the ability to record your doctor's visit if your physician gives you permission. What this does is basically gives you the option to record the audio for your visit, and then it'll convert that into a text if that's what you prefer. So you can reread all of your notes or questions or answers that your doctor gave you, or you can re-listen to it at a later date and kind of go over that, which a lot of people have found to be really helpful, because oftentimes when you're having a discussion with your doctor, you have a lot of questions, so you forget often what you want to ask them. And also, if you're not writing everything down, or you don't have somebody there with you, it can be difficult to remember everything that they tell you. And the last main thing is that we produce basically a status report, and that's going to give you an all-up view of your health across all of your symptoms, across all your mental and physical health attributes, and you can kind of follow along and you can follow the trends. So when things are starting to go well, right, you can see that you're on the up and up, and maybe there's something that you've changed in your treatment that's effective, or vice versa. Maybe you've started a new medication, or you're coming off of a chemotherapy session and you're starting to see issues with some symptoms, or maybe your sleep is going downhill, and that would be a red flag that you would say, hey, I need to have a discussion with my doctor about this. All right, Brett, we can go to the next slide. So here's just kind of a look at what the symptom tracker looks like. You can see on the left, that's going to be your home screen. And on the right, we ask you about how you're feeling each day. You have the ability to track your pain levels, track your current system or symptoms, and then you can make individual notes for individual days that you can either choose to share directly with your doctor later, or you can always return and review them yourselves. You go to the next slide, Brett. This is a further look at the symptom tracker. On the left, you can see we also give the option, which a lot of patients or users have been really giving us positive feedback about, is the last option on your journal or symptom tracker is to always, if you want to kind of recognize something that you're grateful for that day. The whole point of FORBIE is to try and provide a very positive companion application, right? We have on the front page inspirational quotes, and typically we use backgrounds that are very calming and soothing. So a lot of patients have given us very positive feedback about creating an environment that's comfortable and easy to use. Brett, we can go to the next slide. So here's an example of what our surveys look like. On the left, you can see what a typical question is. It's pretty pretty basic. You just have to pick between a couple of options. At the end, you'll get a calculated score that gives you, with also a color-coded calculated score, and it gives you, moderate, severe, or totally regular, and that's what ends up being interpreted on the image to the right, which is your trend line. And I think we're looking at a 7-day trend, but that can be broken into 30 days or a year. And that would give you the ability to identify, if you start seeing something in the positive or the negative, and you want to call it out and talk to your doctor. So here's the status report. This is something that you can email to either your caregiver, friends and family, or directly to your doctor, or you can walk in with your phone and show it to your doctor. And it has all of the metrics that that's been being tracked via the survey and the journal, along with any health metrics if you choose to attach a fitness band. And this is really the most powerful part of FORBIE, I believe. It basically gives the user the ability to take their data and own it. And it gives people kind of a more analytical way to kind of approach, or a more data-driven way to approach conversations with the physician or the doctor or the care team. Here's a look at the medication tracker. You can search for your medication. Then you can set up a daily routine, what time you want it, should it be taken with food or any other notes that you want to add to it. And then you can see on the right, it tracks your daily medications and whether or not you've taken them on time. It will also send you push notifications and reminders if you have forgotten or if you've missed a medication dose. Here's kind of a look at doctor visits notes. You can see on the left that it pops up a little legal consent to make sure to remind you to ask your doctor if you can record your visit, but then it's very simple. You just hit the big microphone button. It will record the conversation, and on the right, you can see the translated audio into text, and then you can also email that to yourself or anyone else who you might feel needs to review it. So some of the upcoming features, and this has actually come from some focus groups that we've done with you guys as well, are My Calendar, which gives you the option to input future upcoming appointments, whether it be coaching sessions or oncology appointments, and then also attach your notes and your audio recordings directly to those to make it easier to search. And then additionally, content, which would be a searchable content that would give you more or less access to studies, recent news articles, embedded sources, right? It's not a Google search. It's vetted sources with verified information, and you'd be able to save whatever articles or studies that you find there in your own feed. And it's just meant to be kind of a way to get an uncluttered look at some information that's available out there without having to go to Google or WebMD and kind of filter through all of the different available content that comes with doing a Google search. Also, a desktop version is in the works. Because we know that some individuals don't have the best access or don't like using the mobile phone applications, or for any other reason why you would prefer to use a desktop version, and that should help us increase accessibility. So yeah, that's FORBIE in a nutshell.
That's wonderful. All right, anyone have questions?
Hey, Casey, I'm Jay Harness. Nice to see you. I didn't get to see your entire talk, but signed on right at a crucial statement you made about unplanned ER visits and what have you. Do you want to elaborate a little bit on that? Because I'm going to give a talk in about an hour about exercise. And we actually have a published study that I'd be happy to send to you that shows that having cancer patients involved in regular supervised exercise programs actually decreases unexpected ER visits, clinic visits, private office visits. But I thought you made a really important point. You might want to elaborate on it some more.
Yeah, sure. And I'd absolutely love to have that study. So if you can send that over to me, I would love to look through that. Yeah, so more or less in terms of annual cancer care in the United States, there's about $150 billion in expenditure to try and that's being used in order to help people recover from their or get them through their journeys. And about 48% of that goes to unplanned admissions. So the average cancer patient has about 3 unplanned admissions a year. The emergency room accounts for 2 of them, and hospitalization at least once a year.
Yep.
And the idea here is that if you are able to take a look at your data on a weekly basis, review your trends, you can call out to your doctor that because on a day-to-day basis, it's often very difficult to identify when you feel worse the day before. So in this case, you can use the trend, your data trend, to either contact your doctor, or when you present your all-up status report to your doctor is able to look at it and identify what your health trends are, and perhaps your doctor is able to draw more information from this than they would be from simply filling out surveys or kind of having an explanation for how you're doing when they ask you.
Oh, very good. Let me give everybody my email address. It's really simple. It's the letter J, the letter K, then harness, like you put on a horse, at gmail.com. So Casey, if you'd send me a quick email, I'd love to talk with you more about, and also including in FORBIE, what people are doing in the way of exercise and monitoring their exercise regimens.
Yeah, can you put it in the chat, both of you there? That'd be good.
Yeah, it's the letter J, the letter K, then harness,
Yeah.
HARNESS, like you put on a horse,
Right,
at
Brett,
gmail.com.
we've got that in there. Brett put that for you, and then maybe Casey,
Yeah.
you share yours too.
Yeah, and Casey, if you'd share with me your contact information, I absolutely want to follow up with you. But beautiful talk. Thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely.
Excellent. All right, any other questions here? Anybody else would like to do?
I guess I would also add that we did recently launch, so we are always looking for individuals to be using the app to provide us feedback directly.
Yes.
Right? You can, if you open up the app and you find any issues or you have any suggestions, we're available at feedback@forbie.com, and we would love to hear from anyone and everyone. It's a free service,
Excellent.
so we're just trying to refine it as best as we can.
Yeah, you just answered the question. I was going to say, was there a charge? And no, it is a free service. So this is wonderful. Excellent. Well, that's wonderful. We thank you both for being here. And Karen, where are you coming from? Where are you at?
From Brisbane, Australia.
Australia. I want everybody to
Yeah.
know that. So part of our global connection. So this is
That's it.
wonderful. And that'll be
It
great.
is. And Jay, if you need any more information regarding exercise, I have probably a 20-year library of cancer and exercise that I can provide to you. We had this conversation a few years ago when we chatted. So yeah, don't be afraid to reach out though. I have a lot of articles that can help you out with that.
Well, as I'm going to say in my talk in an hour, you're the leaders. The Aussies are the leaders in exercise oncology. Your COSA, the Clinical Oncology Society of Australia, in 2018 made, and that's in my talk, made exercise a standard of adjuvant care for all cancer patients. At Maple Tree, we're just real close to starting up at Westmed Hospital in Sydney. One of the issues, Karen, as you may know, is actually implementing this down in Australia. It's not widely implemented, but you're the leaders in the world, and when it comes to the research in this and what have you. So I'm well aware of your fantastic leadership.
It is, and I spent 6 years in Virginia, and I noticed the gap difference when I arrived into America and started to realize the difference between our countries in the way that we deal with it, because we actually have 6 visits a year paid by the government, by Medicare, to come and see me as an exercise physiologist.
Yeah.
And I
yeah,
took that
I'm
for
aware of that.
granted.
We're working
Yeah.
on the details of that. Hey, Karen, put in the chat, if you will, your email address so I can also follow up with you as well, okay?
Yeah, absolutely, will do.
Thank you very much.
Thank
All
you,
right, I look
Dr.
forward to
Harness.
listening to you.
Yes.
Well, I dropped in really at a fortuitous level. I'm also inviting Karen Wonders to join at 3:30. Karen's the founder of Maple Tree and been at this,
Excellent.
and so she just got back home, and hopefully she'll join us at 3:30, my scheduled slot. If Karen's still around, she'll meet my Karen, Karen Wonders. Okay.
Perfect.
Yep, I'll be around.
That'd
All
be
right,
wonderful.
Karen Anderson, thank you.
Thank you
Welcome.
all. This is wonderful.